Sup DMC, John Barnes here. Sorry I can't be there right now. I'm in here in New York working on a few projects. Just thought I'd make this little video to give you an insight into my career and what I've been up to over the past decade, under a decade I've been doing this. I'm from a small town and outside of Glasgow, and I've been in the industry for, as I said, roughly about 6 years. Started off doing stills for shows and live bands, and just kind of catching them on tour sometimes and following them on the road, and kind of really building up relationships with local artists, and which could really, you know, as they grew, I grew type thing, and eventually working with them, they would want more like video content. So we'd end up shooting more of that and building up for social media stuff and long form stuff like music videos, and it kind of built me a big portfolio to be able to come out here to America, and now I'm working with clients like Vivo for live sessions and a lot of their original content and stuff for Viacom and some of the world's top management companies as well. Usually clients play quite a role in their creative process. It can vary depending on who you're working with. You know, sometimes I find with a lot of artists that have been working with me for a while will let me have more of a creative process, or, you know, sometimes you can have a completely new client and they have a set idea and brief. You just kind of have to fulfill and kind of make their sort of vision a reality. It really depends on client to client, but I would say the longer you work with someone, the more chance you have to have more creative control. I usually work as a part of the team now, but a lot in the beginning of my career I would work on my own, but this is really good for you building up a lot of your skills across the spectrum in video production, whether you're learning how to color, edit, light, direct, everything really. So working together in a team is something that you just kind of build up to with as budgets get bigger. The equipment I use varies quite a lot, actually. Sometimes, you know, I'll work with a DSLR quite a lot. You know, if production's small, if it's something quick, you know, that can be like a Canon 5D, 7D. But if I have the budgets that I'd like to have, I usually use an ARRI Amira, which I really like because it's like got a beautiful image, it's got great dynamic range, it shoots slow motion, it's just a nice size as well. You don't really have to have a crazy rig for it, so when you're working in the music industry, when the budgets aren't great, you don't have to sort of hire loads of equipment to kind of make it run. It's kind of a run and gun type documentary type camera, which is really good, and also it comes out in ProRes, which is great for editing. But without going into too much detail there, that's probably what I really use. And then for lighting, my favorite light to use is actually a Kino Flow. I just love the light it gives off, and when you haze that with mist, it just has this kind of feeling. And I also like using ARRIs too for like the tungsten lights and things like that. I would say I try to make sort of stamp, you could say, or my own visual mark on my work, but I tend to find that clients who usually have a certain, you know, idea or vision they have in their head, and you can have to fulfill that. You can do it with lighting, you can do it with mood sometimes, but the best way to kind of keep that style for yourself and show who you are as a creative is in your personal work. And I've started to find that the more personal work you do, the more likely a client will in the future like want to take you on more so for your style rather than just like a role. If I was 16 now, I wouldn't do anything differently. I'm really happy with the way my career's going. What I would say to you guys for advice is don't let any creative boundaries come in the way. It doesn't matter where you're from or what type of equipment you have. You can create whatever you want still, especially now. If you're inspired by a song or an artist or a band, use that energy and just create. If you create enough, people start to notice, and you can end up making a career out of it. Well guys, I hope that was really informative for you. I just want to say thanks to DMC for having me participate in this year's event, and I really hope you guys can go create some amazing photography and film content for the music industry. Thanks again.